Welcome to English 1231, Ancient World Literature from Beginnings to the Renaissance. I'm Dr. Young, and I'll be your professor this semester. This presentation will give you a brief overview of the class and set you up to start working through the Getting Started, and Week 1 modules. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm an assistant teaching professor here at S&T in the English and Technical Communications Department. I've been teaching college courses since 2008 and ancient world literature since 2018, but I just started here at S&T this past fall. I have a doctorate in children's and young adult literature with an emphasis in steampunk and gas lamp fantasies from the University of Louisiana in Lafayette. 3 facts about me. My spouse and I have 2 dogs, a Boston Terrier and a Dachshund, and I'm trying to convince my spouse that we need a lab, so I have a running partner instead of a cat. They really want a cat. I think I'm losing that battle. Nerd gummy clusters are the best candy ever invented, and I own over 1,000 books, which means technically I have an official library in my house. Let's get started with the required readings for this semester. We're going to have reading selections from 4 ancient texts: the Iliad, the Ramayana, 1001 Nights, and Dante's Inferno. It's important that you have the translations that I selected through the bookstore. These covers are the covers that the book should look like when you're ordering them. First, we have the Iliad, and you need to have Robert Fagel's translation. The book that I ordered looks like this, but you might get a copy that looks like this. Either one of these will work. We'll also be reading starting week 3 with a modern prose translation of the Indian epic, the Ramayana, with translations by Narayan. If you don't get this copy, you'll have it in poetry form and devotional poetry rather than a modern written novella. And that will make reading a lot more difficult. It'll also probably be a lot longer. In week 5, we'll start reading 2 of the most famous tales from 1001 Nights, The Voyages of Sinbad the Sailor and Aladdin and the Enchanted Lamp. You'll want to have the N.A. Dawood translation. There's many translations for these stories, but not all of them have the same elements. For instance, our text includes 7 voyages of Sinbad. However, my niece and nephew's copy of 1001 Nights only has 1 of the voyages, and an old copy that my grandfather gave me when I was a child only includes 4 of the voyages. So you'll be responsible to read all 7. And then we'll end the semester with the reading of Dante's Inferno. We're going to be reading 10 of those cantos. I've selected Robin Kirkpatrick's translations, as it's a more accurate representation of how Dante works with the language within his stylized prose, or not prose, but poetry. And you'll be assigned one of these cantos to create a digital presentation on, very similar to my videos. In addition to that, each week you'll have about 50 to 100 pages to read. We're going to be starting off heavy with the Iliad, but the reading load will lessen as we go along throughout the semester. You'll also have a weekly quiz. Quizzes are multiple choice or true-false questions. I have a pool of 30 questions per reading assignment for the full week, and you'll be randomly given 10 of those questions. So you might find that one week you have all true-false, and the rest of the semester you have a mixture of them. It's completely random. You're also going to be needing to complete annotations each week in Hypothesis over one of the parts of the reading. Hypothesis is a social annotating site, which basically means you can highlight passages, write comments with your peers, and I can read and respond to. Hypothesis is designed to act like an in-class engagement. So questions or comments you might have that we would be voicing if we were meeting in person, you can type them out, and that will help us get to know each other better and have a discussion on the literature. I'll also be uploading videos like this so that you can ask questions and get answers about the lectures that we'll have. And then you'll have 2 projects. The first project is a video presentation covering one of Dante's cantos, like I discussed earlier, and you'll be also creating an outline for this project beforehand. This will make sure that your presentation is going in the right direction before you develop it. And if there's something that you need to add, I can tell you, look, I think you need to develop this more, or etc. You'll also have a creative project. For this creative project, you'll be asked to develop a tattoo for one of the characters and explain the design choices you made in an artist statement. Here you can see an example of a tattoo design for Achilles from the Iliad. But be aware that because the example assignment is Achilles, you can't choose Achilles as your character. You'll also have a final exam. The exam will utilize lockdown, but you are allowed to use your books or your notes. So you'll want to make sure that you're taking good notes on all videos and discussions that we might have. That's a very quick run through of our class. You'll need to work through the Getting Started module before you can move through the weekly modules. I have this course paced for you, so be aware that modules will open on Fridays at noon, 2 weeks before assignments are due. In other words, week 3 will open this Friday. We have a lot to do over the next 8 weeks, but I'm excited to get to know you through our discussions and to read these literary epics with you.